Hello everyone, welcome to Prelims Warm-Up. This initiative has been brought to you by Aptiplus Academy for Civil Services. My name is Shaib Datta. I am the faculty for Geography and Environment at Aptiplus Academy for Civil Services. So in this initiative, we are looking at 5 questions every day, which have been asked in the previous year UPSC Prelims examination. So let us start with the first question for today. The first question is from UPSC Prelims 2019, and it had asked, under which schedule of the Constitution of India can the transfer of tribal land to private parties for mining be declared null and void? Let us see, under which schedule of the Constitution of India can the transfer of tribal land to private parties for mining be declared null and void? Okay, so as you can understand, this question is from polity, and let us look at the explanation for this. So the Indian Constitution, it provides autonomy to tribal areas in matters like governance under the 5th and the 6th schedules. So the 5th and the 6th schedules of the Constitution of India, it is considered, or it is concerned with providing autonomy to tribal areas, and which is further fortified by the Samatha versus State of Andhra Pradesh and others case 1997 judgment, where we get to see the Supreme Court had declared that the transfer of tribal land to private parties for mining was null and void under the 5th schedule. Please remember this particular case, that is Samatha versus the State of Andhra Pradesh and others, which was in 1997. Its judgment where the Supreme Court stated or declared that the transfer of tribal land to private parties for mining was null and void under the 5th schedule of the Constitution. The framework for protection of the rights of tribal and indigenous people is further strengthened by the recognition of Forest Rights Act 2006, which is again a very important act so far as our environment part of the syllabus is concerned. So the framework for protection of the rights of tribals and indigenous people is further strengthened by the recognition of Forest Rights Act 2006, which protects the individual and the community rights of tribal people in forest areas and their right to free and prior informed consent in the event of their displacement and resettlement. Okay, so the Indian Constitution, it provides autonomy to tribal areas in matters of governance under the 5th and 6th schedules, which we are aware of, and this has been further fortified by the Samatha versus State of Andhra Pradesh and others, which was in 1987. And in this particular case, we get to see that the Supreme Court had declared a judgment whereby it said that the transfer of tribal land to private parties for mining was null and void under the 5th schedule. And this entire protection of the rights of tribals and indigenous people, it is further strengthened by the recognition of Forest Rights Act 2006, under which we get to see around 4 important rights have been provided to tribals, which protects the individual and the community rights of the tribal people in forest areas and their right to free and prior informed consent in the event of their displacement and resettlement. Okay, so the answer should be B, that is the 5th schedule. Please remember. So the question was, under which schedule of the Constitution of India can the transfer of tribal land to private parties for mining be declared as null and void? It should be under the 5th schedule. Next. Second question is also from UPSC Prelims 2019, and here we get to see the question is, recently there was a growing awareness in our country about the importance of the Himalayan nettle because it is found to be a sustainable source of what? So what is this Himalayan nettle? It's a type of plant. The question is asking, okay, recently there was a growing awareness in our country about the importance of Himalayan nettle because it is found to be a sustainable source of what? Okay, so this question was from current affairs or environment, as you can understand. A, anti-malarial drug. B, biodiesel. C, pulp for paper industry. And D, textile fiber. A, anti-malarial drug. B, biodiesel. C, pulp for paper industry. And D, textile fiber. So let us see. So this Girardinia diversifolia, or also simply called as Himalayan nettle, this is the scientific name of it. It is a fiber yielding plant, and it has become an important livelihood option for people who are living in the remote mountainous villages of the Himalayas. Why is that so? Because B, what is B? B is it provides textile fiber. So Please remember that the Himalayan nettle, also called as the Giratina diversifolia, and it is a sustainable source of textile fiber. And as you can understand, because it's a fiber yielding plant, so it has become an important livelihood option for people who are living in the remote villages of the Himalayas. So the right answer for question number 2 is D. Coming to question number 3, and this question was also asked in UPSC Prelims 2019. There are 3 statements which have been provided, and you have to find out the correct answer. The first statement is saying that chlorophyll content in the vegetation of a specific location. Let us see the question first. For the measurement estimation of which of the following are satellite images or remote sensing data used? For the measurement or estimation of which of the following are satellite images and remote sensing data used? So for what is this remote sensing data used out of the ones? Number 1, chlorophyll content in the vegetation of a specific location. 2, greenhouse gas emissions from rice paddies of a specific location. 3, land surface temperature of a specific location. So the question is asking, okay, to measure which out of this, or to estimate which out of this, do we get to see that satellite images and remote sensing data are used? 1, chlorophyll content in the vegetation of a specific location. 2, greenhouse gas emissions from rice paddies of a specific location. And 3, land surface temperatures of a specific location. So let us see for this particular question now. With the development of remote sensing from space, satellite data, it offers the possibility for measuring land surface temperature over the entire globe with sufficiently high temporal resolution and with complete spatial average rather than point values. So basic thing is that, okay, with the help of satellite data, we can understand the land surface temperature almost over the entire globe. So can we understand? Yes, that is possible. So 3 is possible, as you can understand. Now the next part is the global food supply is being monitored with satellite imagery and the normalized difference vegetation index. Near infrared radiation is being used to detect healthy vegetation in agriculture. Okay, so near infrared radiation, it is being used to detect healthy vegetation in agriculture. Healthy vegetation, it reflects green light and absorbs red and blue light. The green light that our eyes see is chlorophyll created by plants during photosynthesis. Chlorophyll will reflect more light in the green and near infrared spectrum compared to other wavelengths. This is why near infrared radiation in combination with NDVI, what is the full form of NDVI? Normalized difference vegetation index. So this is why near infrared radiation in combination with NDVI is one of the primary remote sensing applications in agriculture and the environment. Okay, so does it help us in understanding the chlorophyll content in the vegetation of a specific location? Yes, that is also true, because just now we learned, okay, near infrared radiation, it is being used to detect healthy vegetation in agriculture. And how can that happen? The healthy vegetation, it will reflect green light and absorb red and blue light. The green light that our eyes see is nothing but the chlorophyll which is created by plants during photosynthesis, and hence chlorophyll will reflect more light in the green and near infrared spectrum compared to other wavelengths. And that is why we get to see that near infrared radiation in combination with NDVI, that is normalized difference vegetation index, is one of the primary remote sensing applications in agriculture and environment. Last part, the remote sensing from satellites can deliver information on greenhouse gas soil emissions by estimating tropospherical near surface carbon dioxide and methane concentrations based on the measurement of the intensity of the reflected sunlight in small wavelength bands in the visible and short wavelength infrared portion of the spectrum. Now again, don't have to go too much into the details, because UPSC will not ask you in such great details. First thing is that, okay, does remote sensing help us in understanding the temperature of land surface? Yes, we can use the remote sensing satellite imagery to understand the temperature of land surface. Second question is, can we understand the chlorophyll content through satellite imagery of the vegetation of a particular location? Yes, that is also possible. Third thing is that, can it help us? You see the third statement which was given, okay, greenhouse gas emission from rice paddies of a specific location. So can that be understood with the help of satellite images and remote sensing? So it is saying that remote sensing from satellites can deliver information on greenhouse gas emission from the soil So that is very important. Now, how that will happen, that entire technical information, that is not so necessary so far as UPSC Prelims is concerned. But just know that remote sensing satellite imagery can be used to understand the amount of greenhouse gas emissions which are taking place from the soil. So the third statement is also correct. So since all the three statements are correct, so you can understand the right answer should be D, 1, 2, and 3. Now moving on to the fourth question. The fourth question was also asked in UPSC Prelims 2019. And if you look at the fourth question, you have been provided with 4 states. Number 1, Chhattisgarh. Number 2, Madhya Pradesh. Number 3, Maharashtra. And number 4, Odisha. So 4 states have been provided, and one is Chhattisgarh, second is Madhya Pradesh, third is Maharashtra, fourth is Odisha. The question is asking, with reference to the states which have been mentioned above, in terms of percentage of forest cover to the total area of the state, which one of the following is the correct ascending order? What is meant by ascending order? From the lowest to the highest. That is your ascending order. So what you have to do over here is you have to arrange these 4 states in the proper sequential manner, in the proper ascending order, so that they are arranged in such a manner that the lowest or the state having the lowest forest cover, that comes at the beginning, and slowly you get to see as we go towards the other end, the forest cover will keep on increasing. So these 4 states will have to be arranged in the ascending order of the amount of forest cover present in them. Okay. So where do we get all these data from? Where do we get all this information from? All this this from environment again, and all this information you'll be able to find in ISFR, Indian State of Forest Report. So in 2019 also we get to see the Indian State of Forest Report was released, and there are high chances of questions being asked from Indian State of Forest Report in the 2020 prelims examination. So Chhattisgarh, Madhya Pradesh, Maharashtra, Odisha, out of these, if you have to arrange them in the ascending order, the percentage of forested area, this is as per the because when the examination had taken place during that point of time, the ISFR or the Indian State of Forest Report 2019 report had not yet got published. So this question is based on the 2017 report. So it comes out every 2 years, biennial publication. And who comes up with it? Forest FRI, that is Forest Research Institute. So the percentage of forested area in 2017 by state as published by the Forest Survey of India. Sorry, FSI is Forest Survey of India. So it is FSI who comes up with the report, and the name of the report is ISFR, Indian State of Forest Report. So what is this FSI, Forest Survey of India? It is a body which comes under the Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change. Okay, the first report I think was released in 1987. And from 1987 we get to see every 2 years a report has got released, the latest one being in 2019. Okay, the percentage of forested area in 2017 by state as published by the Forest Survey of India or the FSI in the ascending order, that is the lowest at the beginning and we go up to the highest one. So Maharashtra, it is around 16.47%. Madhya Pradesh is around 25.11%. Odisha is around 32.98%, and Chhattisgarh is 41.09%. So if you can understand the difference is percentage of forest cover. What is meant by percentage of forest cover? You can understand. Okay, if 100% is the total area of the state, out of that, how much percentage is under forest meaning? So first comes Maharashtra. I mean, if we go by the ascending order, then the lowest is Maharashtra. After Maharashtra, we have Madhya Pradesh. After that, we have Odisha, and after that, we have Chhattisgarh. When it comes to Madhya Pradesh, by the way, please remember, okay, in terms of percentage cover, it might be low, but in terms of total area under forest cover, it has the highest area under forest cover. Okay? आपको ये चीज याद रखना होगा कि मध्य प्रदेश में परसेंटेज वाइज शायद से वो छत्तीसगढ़ से कम हो सकता है, बट इन टर्म्स ऑफ टोटल एरिया अंडर फॉरेस्ट कवर, इफ वी सी, मध्य प्रदेश will be the highest. So Maharashtra, Madhya Pradesh, then we have Odisha, then we have Chhattisgarh. So where is Maharashtra? 3. So where does 3 Maharashtra is here? Madhya Pradesh is 2, Odisha is so. The right option should be 3241. 3241 is option C. Okay. So such kind of questions will be asked, especially from ISFR report. Similarly, if you are looking at again another area jahan se definitely question will be asked, that is the tiger census data which came out in 2019. So this tiger census had taken place in 2018. The data was published in 2019. and there is a 100% chance of question coming from that particular report. Let's say in terms of you can have questions on the basis of the states which are having the highest number of tigers, or there can be questions on the basis of those tiger reserves which have lost all their tigers. So such kind of questions can be asked. So there are three such tiger reserves where no signs of tigers were found. So one is the Palamu tiger reserve of Jharkhand, the other is the Dampa tiger reserve in Mizoram, and the third one is the Baksa tiger reserve of West Bengal. So these were the three tiger reserves in the tiger census report of 2018 where we get to see no signs of tigers were found. UPSC will target such kind of information. Okay, now moving on to the last question, the fifth question for today. The fifth question again is from UPSC Prelims 2019, and the question is asking, which of the following statements are correct about the deposits of methane hydrate? Which of the following statements are correct about the deposits of methane hydrate? There are three statements which have been given. Number one, global warming might trigger the release of methane gas from these deposits. Two, large deposits of methane hydrate are found in Arctic tundra under the sea floor. And three, methane in atmosphere oxidizes to carbon dioxide after a decade or two. Let me repeat. Which of the following statements are correct about the deposits of methane hydrate? This question was asked in UPSC Prelims 2019. First statement is global warming might trigger the release of methane gas from these deposits. Two, large deposits of methane hydrate are found in Arctic tundra and under the seafloor. Three, methane in atmosphere oxidizes to carbon dioxide after decade or two. So let us see. First of all, what is methane hydrate? Methane hydrate, it is a crystalline solid which consists of a methane molecule surrounded by a cage of interlocking water molecules. Okay, so there is no image, by the way. I've just taken this from a website. There was an image over there. So methane hydrate, it is a crystalline solid which consists of a methane molecule, and this methane molecule is surrounded by a cage of interlocking water molecules. Now, methane hydrate, it is an ice that only occurs naturally in subsurface deposits where temperature and pressure conditions are favorable for its formation. Methane hydrate is a crystalline solid that consists of a methane molecule surrounded by a cage of interlocking water molecules, and it is an ice that only occurs naturally in subsurface deposits where the temperature and pressure conditions are favorable for its formation. Owing to the melting of ice, global warming might trigger the release of methane gas from these deposits. So due to global warming, you can have methane gas getting released from such kind of methane hydrate deposits. So yes, the first statement which is given, global warming might trigger the release of methane gas from these deposits. Now, is that correct? Yes, that is definitely correct. The second statement, let us see, if four Earth environments have the temperature and pressure conditions, four Earth environments are there which have the temperature and the pressure conditions which are suitable for the formation and stability of methane hydrate. So what kind of environment is required for the stability of the methane hydrate? Number one, sediment and sedimentary rock units below Arctic permafrost. Next is sedimentary deposits along continental margins. That is another year. Next is deep water sediments of inland lakes and seas. And fourth is the Antarctic ice, so under Antarctic ice. So four Earth environments have the temperature and the pressure conditions which are suitable for the formation and for the stability of methane hydrate. These are number one, sediment and sedimentary rock units below Arctic permafrost. Number two, sedimentary deposits along continental margins. And number three, deep water sediments of inland lakes and seas. And number four, under Arctic ice. Next, statement 3, methane in atmosphere oxidizes to carbon dioxide after decade or two. Okay, methane in atmosphere, it oxidizes to carbon dioxide after decade or two. Now let us try to understand it over here. So methane is relatively short-lived in the atmosphere. A molecule of methane is oxidized to water and carbon dioxide after a decade or so, mainly by reaction with another trace gas, the hydroxyl radical OH-. Thus, unlike the case of carbon dioxide, which stays in the atmosphere longer than methane, a concerted effort to reduce methane emissions would have almost immediate results in terms of reduction of greenhouse effect. Okay, I'll repeat once again. Okay, methane is relatively short-lived. What did the third statement say? Methane in atmosphere oxidizes to carbon dioxide after decade or two. So the thing is, methane is relatively short-lived in the atmosphere. A molecule of methane is oxidized to water and carbon dioxide after a decade or two, mainly by reaction with another trace gas, that is the hydroxyl radical. Thus, unlike the case of carbon dioxide, which has a longer, you can say, half-life, so unlike the case of carbon dioxide, which stays in the atmosphere much longer, it is much more persistent in nature. A concerted effort to reduce methane emissions would have almost immediate results in terms of reduction of greenhouse effect. Okay. So methane in atmosphere oxidizes to carbon dioxide after a decade or two. That is correct. Large deposits of methane hydrate are found in Arctic tundra and under the seafloor. That is also correct. And global warming might trigger the release of methane gas from this deposit. That is also correct. So all the three are correct, and D should be the right answer. Okay, so with this, we complete the 5 questions for today, and I hope you have found it to be useful. Please like this video, also share it with your other friends who are also preparing for UPSC, because this will help them a lot. Also, please subscribe to Aptitude Academy for Civil Services YouTube channel for more such informative videos. We'll be back again with another episode of Prelims Warm Up with 5 new set of questions. Till then, stay safe and study hard. Thank you so much.